What we call disgusting today was once the height of survival, status, and sacred duty. Ancient civilizations didn't cook for comfort or cleanliness. They ate through fermentation, ritual blood consumption, and the transformation of anatomical waste into luxury. From Rome and Greece to Mesoamerica and pharaonic Egypt, taste was shaped by necessity, belief, and power, not hygiene. This list uncovers 10 ancient foods that fueled empires, honored gods, and erased species, yet would trigger instant revulsion on a modern plate. Number 1, we begin with a delicacy so vile yet so profitable that it powered an empire: Roman garum, the liquid gold of decay. In the world of ancient Roman food, nothing was more essential or more horrifying than garum, a fermented fish sauce created through controlled decomposition. This foul-smelling condiment formed the backbone of Roman cuisine, delivering salt and umami long before refrigeration existed. Made by layering whole fish, blood, and viscera with heavy salt and massive clay vats, garum relied on autolysis, where enzymes dissolved flesh into a pungent liquid under scorching Mediterranean heat. The odor was so unbearable that production sites were legally forced outside city walls, transforming coastlines into industrial zones of rot. Despite the stench, garum fueled an enormous economy, with premium varieties like garum sociorum fetching prices equal to luxury perfumes. Romans poured it over nearly everything: porridge, wine, fruit, desserts, creating flavors modern palates would find unbearable. What appeared to us as biological waste, such as the thick sludge called alec, sustained slaves and laborers as their main protein source. Philosophers like Seneca condemned it as poisonous, yet elites prized the first blood extract as culinary perfection. To modern senses, garum represents a nightmare of liquefied guts and overpowering funk, but to Rome, it was civilization bottled, a reminder that ancient survival depended on fermentation, not freshness, making it one of the most disturbing foods in human history. At number 2, we descend into the iron heart of Sparta with a meal designed not to please, but to brutalize: melas zomos, the infamous black broth. This grim stew was the dietary cornerstone of Spartan warriors, consumed daily in communal mess halls known as syssitia. Crafted from boiled pork legs, pig's blood, salt, and sharp vinegar, black broth embodied the Spartan rejection of luxury and indulgence. Nutritionally dense with iron and protein, the dish served as fuel for hoplites trained for relentless warfare. Vinegar prevented the blood from clotting while intensifying its sour, metallic edge, creating a texture and aroma that repulsed outsiders. Ancient accounts describe travelers gagging at the sight of the inky liquid, comparing its taste to rusted metal and death. Yet the revulsion was intentional. Spartans believed enduring such food strengthened mental discipline and fearlessness. Younger soldiers gnawed on the remaining gristle, while elders drank the broth like a ritual potion. This was not cuisine, it was indoctrination through the stomach. In a world obsessed with pleasure, Sparta weaponized disgust, turning nourishment into a test of loyalty and resilience. For modern eaters, black broth would be an unthinkable horror, a sour, bloody sludge. But for the warriors of Lacedaemon, it was the taste of identity, sacrifice, and war. At number 3, we encounter a lost food so powerful it vanished forever: silphium, the extinct spice that seduced and doomed an empire. Silphium was the most coveted plant of the ancient Mediterranean, growing only in a narrow strip of land in modern Libya and resisting all attempts at cultivation. Romans prized its resin, known as laser, as both a luxury seasoning and a miracle medicine capable of preventing pregnancy, treating disease, and enhancing desire. It flavored exotic meats, cured ailments, and perfumed the body with a pungent sulfurous aroma that signaled wealth and refinement. Entire economies revolved around its harvest, with Cyrene minting coins stamped with its heart-shaped seed. Demand became insatiable, leading to reckless overharvesting and habitat destruction from grazing livestock. By the 1st century AD, Pliny the Elder recorded its extinction, noting a final stock gifted to Emperor Nero like a relic. Imagine a spice so essential that society consumed it into oblivion. To modern tastes, its intense bitterness and odor would overwhelm any dish, yet Romans considered it divine. Silphium stands as history's first culinary extinction, a chilling reminder that ancient luxury often came at the cost of annihilation, making it one of the most disturbing foods in human history. At number 4, decadence takes a disturbing turn with a Roman luxury that transformed vermin into vanity, the gourmet dormouse. In ancient Rome, wealth was measured not only in gold, but in how grotesquely it could be displayed, and nothing proved elite excess more clearly than the consumption of fattened dormice. These were not accidental pests, but purpose-bred rodents, raised specifically for the table using devices called gliraria. Inside these smooth-walled terracotta jars, dormice were trapped in artificial darkness that triggered hibernation-like lethargy, forcing their bodies to convert constant feeding into pure fat. Nuts rich in oils, walnuts, chestnuts, and acorns were pushed through small holes until the animals swelled to grotesque proportions. According to Apicius, preparation was deliberately theatrical. The creature was gutted, its own limbs minced with pork, pine nuts, and pungent fish sauce, then stitched back together and roasted whole. Finished dormice were glazed with honey, dusted in poppy seeds, and weighed publicly to demonstrate the host's extravagance. Roman elites applauded obesity as culinary success, while lawmakers periodically tried and failed to ban the dish for moral excess. To modern audiences, eating a honey-coated rodent engineered for immobility is deeply unsettling. Yet in Roman banquets, it symbolized control, power, and wasteful luxury. The dormouse wasn't just food, it was proof that even nature's lowest creatures could be perverted into status symbols, making it one of the most disturbing ancient foods ever celebrated. At number 5, survival meets shock with a method so primitive yet ingenious it feels unreal, the clay-baked Egyptian hedgehog. In ancient Egypt, where meat was scarce for common people, small animals became essential sources of protein, and the hedgehog was among the most unusual. Archaeological evidence and tomb art reveal these spiny mammals appearing on banquet trays, consumed by peasants and elites alike. The challenge, of course, was the hedgehog's armor of sharp quills, which made traditional butchery nearly impossible. Egyptian cooks solved this with a technique that bordered on alchemy. The animal was sealed alive or freshly killed inside wet Nile mud, forming a thick clay shell. Placed directly into hot embers, the clay hardened as the meat roasted, locking the spines into the shell itself. Once cracked open, the quills peeled away cleanly, leaving tender, fatty flesh inside. The result was dark, rich meat, often compared to duck, eaten without utensils, straight from the fire. To modern eyes, smashing open a dirt-covered mammal like pottery seems grotesque, yet it was efficient, hygienic, and perfectly suited to ancient conditions. Today, hedgehogs are protected and adored. In ancient Egypt, they were nourishment shaped by necessity. This dish reminds us that ancient food horror often emerged not from cruelty, but from ingenious survival in a harsh world. At number 6, food crosses into ritual terror with a drink that fused nourishment and sacrifice, the Aztec blood cacao potion. For the Aztecs, cacao was sacred, a divine substance linked directly to the human heart and flowing blood. Unlike modern sweetened chocolate, their version was cold, bitter, spiced with chili, and violently stimulating due to its high theobromine content. During major religious ceremonies in Tenochtitlan, this sacred beverage took on an even darker role. Slaves chosen for sacrifice were required to embody the gods joyfully, and any sign of fear was treated as ritual failure. To induce euphoria and mental detachment, priests administered a cacao drink mixed with blood, washed from sacrificial knives. This horrifying addition was not symbolic alone. It was believed to sanctify the victim before his own heart was offered to the gods. Served in ceremonial vessels, the drink blurred the line between nourishment, intoxication, and death. The froth, created by repeatedly pouring the liquid from height, represented divine breath, while its bitterness mirrored the gravity of the ritual. Today, chocolate represents comfort and indulgence, but its ancestral form was a psychological weapon designed to numb terror and elevate sacrifice. Few ancient foods are as disturbing as this, an intoxicating blend of stimulant, ritual, and human blood that redefines culinary horror at its darkest extreme. At number 7, excess mutates into spectacle with a dish designed not to nourish, but to dominate, the Shield of Minerva. When Emperor Vitellius seized power during the chaotic year of the Four Emperors, he transformed Roman dining into a grotesque performance of authority. His most infamous creation, the so-called Shield of Minerva, the Protectress, was less a recipe and more an imperial threat served on silver. This colossal platter required the Roman navy itself to scour the empire's farthest edges, collecting ingredients chosen not for harmony, but for rarity and anatomical absurdity. Flamingo tongues formed the core, tiny fatty slivers harvested by slaughtering hundreds of birds to produce a single course. To these were added peacock and pheasant brains, a gray, oily mash symbolizing the willful destruction of beauty for pleasure. Lamprey milt and pike liver shipped from distant frontiers contributed an overwhelming richness that modern diners would find nauseating. The dish was deliberately excessive, engineered to announce that the emperor could command nature, labor, and extinction itself for one meal. Guests were not meant to enjoy it, they were meant to be intimidated by it. Even hardened Romans found it obscene, and Vitellius's successors quietly erased it from court menus. The Shield of Minerva stands as history's most grotesque culinary flex, proving that power, when unchecked, will eventually try to eat the world. At number 8, Roman luxury crosses into anatomical taboo with a taste for organs meant never to be tasted: sow's womb and udder. Among Rome's elite, refinement meant consuming the rarest and most intimate parts of animals, especially those tied to fertility and nourishment. The sterile sow's womb, or vulvae sterilis, was prized above all, harvested only from pigs that had never given birth or were surgically spayed to preserve texture. Boiled with vinegar, broth, and the now extinct silphium resin, it was served slick with honeyed sauces designed to mask its unsettling origin. Equally disturbing was the sumen, the sow's udder, complete with swollen teats stuffed with mussels, pepper, and caraway before roasting. These dishes were classified as polyteles, sumptuous foods reserved for displays of wealth rather than hunger. Roman lawmakers attempted to ban them under sumptuary laws, fearing moral decay, but enforcement failed spectacularly. To modern sensibilities, eating reproductive and nursing organs feels viscerally wrong, yet Roman diners saw them as proof of sophistication. This was cuisine as conquest over biology, where nothing was sacred if it could be sauced and served. The popularity of these taboo cuts reveals an ancient world where luxury thrived on discomfort, making them among the most unsettling foods ever celebrated. At number 9, horror takes a crunchy turn with a reminder that insects were once banquet fare, ancient insect delicacies. Long before sustainability trends, Greeks and Romans openly practiced entomophagy, drawing sharp lines between common survival food and elite indulgence. Locusts and grasshoppers fed the poor, but aristocrats demanded refinement, even from insects. Aristotle himself documented cicada nymphs as a prized treat, especially females swollen with eggs just before molting. These were roasted or boiled and consumed as rare seasonal luxuries. In Rome, epicures obsessed over the causus larva, deliberately fattening beetle grubs with flour until they burst with grease, then roasting them on silver trays. Across the ancient Near East, insects carried religious legitimacy. Fermented locusts flavored Mesopotamian sauces, while biblical law declared certain species kosher. To modern diners, the idea of egg-filled cicadas or butter-fat larvae provokes instant revulsion, yet these foods symbolized abundance and knowledge of nature's cycles. Crunchy, oily, and undeniably alive moments before cooking, insects fed empires for millennia. Their presence on elite tables reminds us that disgust is cultural, not universal, and that ancient luxury often crawled, buzzed, and squirmed. At number 10, culinary horror reaches its strangest form with a substance born from sickness and sea, ambergris. Ambergris is not harvested, it is expelled, formed deep inside sperm whales as a waxy response to intestinal injury caused by squid beaks. Fresh, it is a foul-smelling black mass, unmistakably fecal and utterly repellent. Yet when cast into the ocean, time performs a chemical miracle. Decades of salt water and sunlight oxidize the lump, transforming it into a pale, fragrant substance prized as floating gold. By the early modern era, ambergris became a luxury food additive and aphrodisiac across Europe and the Islamic world. King Charles II famously flavored his eggs with it, believing it enhanced vitality, while nobles grated it into hot chocolate and coffee for musky depth. To modern minds, seasoning food with whale intestinal secretions sounds obscene, yet it was once the height of sophistication. Ambergris blurs every boundary between waste and treasure, medicine and indulgence, disgust and desire. Its history proves that humanity has always been willing to rebrand the unthinkable as gourmet, as long as rarity, myth, and power could mask its origin. What these 10 ancient foods reveal is that disgust isn't universal, it's cultural. Fermentation, blood, insects, and organs weren't horrors to our ancestors, they were intelligent solutions to survival, sustainability, and belief. Modern food systems have simply hidden us from the biological reality of what we eat, making the past feel more shocking than it truly was. As the world rethinks sustainable nutrition, history may once again become our guide. If this journey into humanity's most unsettling meals intrigued you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the strange, dark, and forgotten corners of history. Thanks for watching.